What's going on, everyone? Tonight we have a fun dish, seafood ramen. Everybody loves ramen, and for good reason. It's fantastic. It can be a little scary to try to put together or make it on your own, but I'm gonna show you it's not that hard, and you can do it too. So we're gonna do seafood ramen. I have some of the world famous dayboat scallops from New England fishmongers, some wild Alaskan spot prawns, and some fish bone broth from Hug's bone broth out of New Hampshire. Really excited to use that. That'll be the base of our soup. So a lot of components. We're going to assemble them at the end, but first I've got these scallops patted dry. I'm going to peel these spot prawns. I'll save the shells for some stock, but I've got the water warming up, and we're just going to get that prep work ready. Really nice to have all your ingredients and stuff cut and prepped ahead of time, and you're just kind of assembling at the end. So let's jump right into it. Our spot prawns have been peeled. They look fantastic. These spot prawns have a little bit of sweetness to them. Really excited. They're gonna cook super quick, I think, probably about 2 minutes. So let's get our saute pan warming up. Start with a little bit of light olive oil. And we'll get our fish bone broth heating up. Still a little frozen, so we'll get this ripping. This will have super hot. So bring that to a boil. Anytime you have ramen, obviously, it's borderline scalding hot when it's served. I'm sure we've all been burnt at some point by ramen. I've got a couple eggs in this boiling water here. I'm going to use this for heating up the noodles as well, but I ran out of burners, so 6.5 minutes for a soft boiled egg. I put it in there once it's kind of boiling. Really nice to find some fresh ramen noodles. These are some lo mein noodles I got at the Asian market. You can use the dried ramen noodles, or you know, not the ones you find in the 50-cent packet, but there's some better stuff you can find like a Whole Foods. But if you can find fresh stuff, obviously that's going to be a little bit better. The directions on these are completely in Chinese, so I'm basically just going to boil them until they got a nice little chew to them, al dente, if you will. So that's heating up. I'm going to add a little bit of butter to saute these prawns, and I think I'll do the scallops first. Get a little sear on them. Where are you? And then we'll do the prawns after that. Nice unsalted butter. There you go. And you'll be doing this at about a medium-high or high heat to get a nice sear on these things. So, all right, let's let that heat up. Get our scallops in now. Pan's nice and hot. This will be about maybe a minute and a half each side. Don't really want to overdo them. We're going to pop them back in that really hot ramen broth, and that will probably continue to cook them a little bit. So just trying to get a little crust on them for now. Probably don't see scallops in ramen too often, so this will be fun. Just over a minute and a half. Flip our scallops. Nice little golden crust on them. And we'll just do about another minute on the bottom side here. These were pretty quick. You guys may have seen me do this before, but I use this microwave timer all the time. We all have a pretty good idea about what 2 minutes is, but it's nice just to have that. It's a little backup in case you lose track of time. These are going to go pretty quick. Now that was only about a minute. I think I'm going to pull the ripcord here. I don't want to overdo these. They're on the smaller side. I don't want them to be too chewy. So let's get those off. Those can hang out with our scallops. These look great. Just going to hit it with a tiny bit of sea salt there. And let's get our noodles in. I've also got, forgot to show you guys, some enoki mushrooms that have just been simmering back there with mirin and soy sauce. Those will add a nice salty punch. I'm losing patience on this bag. Our broth is getting pretty hot. Let's pop these in. I don't know if I'll need this whole amount here. I suspect, I've used these noodles a couple times before, I suspect these are going to take about 3 minutes. While those noodles are cooking, to add a couple things into our ramen bowls that just to build some flavor on top of that fish broth. And the first thing is going to be some grated ginger. Say about a couple teaspoons maybe. This will go really well with the shrimp in the scallops. Very important, some miso paste. This will add a lot of some saltiness, some of that umami flavor, and really give it that signature kind of ramen taste, I guess. So I'd say about a tablespoon of miso paste in each. And then you can make your own dashi, which is very common to find in ramen, and that gives it a lot of seafoody and umaminess, and that's with bonito flake or katsuobushi and kombu, which is seaweed. Those can be hard to find, but what's not hard to find is fish sauce. So if you want to cheat it a little bit, a couple, maybe a teaspoon or so of fish sauce kind of makes up for that similar punch. So that's a nice little way to cheat. So what I'll do is I will, as soon as these noodles are ready, I'm going to drain them. I'll get the hot broth in, and you'll see I'll just kind of mix it up, add the noodles, and then we'll build the ramen. It's go time. So our broth is pretty much at a boil. Everything else has been prepped, ready to go. So step one, oh, this smells fantastic. We'll ladle our broth in to our bowls. You want to save some room so you can add all your toppings. What's great about ramen is there's really a million different ways to cook it. There are no rules. You can add whatever you want to make it your own. So you can really have fun with it. Figure out whatever different toppings that you like. So let's whisk up our miso. Our ginger in there. Smells great. This will add a kind of creaminess to it as well. You could mix this in your pot too, but I wasn't sure how much of this stock I was going to use, so I didn't want to miso it all. There we go. And this is kind of fun to do. It already looks like that creamy ramen texture. Let's get our ramen noodles in. Go. Beautiful. And like I mentioned, there's a reason you prep all this stuff ahead of time. You wouldn't want to be chopping scallions now and doing all that kind of nonsense. So let's add our gourmet microwaved corn. These enoki mushrooms. These are going to have a big salty punch here. Pretty excited about that. get our scallops in there. Our spot prawns. It's getting crowded. Got a few things. All right, perfect. Oh, it's gonna be awesome. We've got scallion. Our 6.5 minute egg. Let's see if I can pull this off. Oh, bad start. Let's try to cut it middle. Go. How's that yolk, huh? This one's kind of a little sloppier. How about that yolk? What am I forgetting? Little seaweed sheets. Someone see this and think we're in Tokyo. We're actually in Salem, Massachusetts. A little chili oil. This is chili oil I made, but there are plenty of chili oils out there you can use. If you want the recipe, just hit me up. Last, but certainly not least, I think, a little togarashi. This is a Japanese little red pepper spice. Pain in the ass to find. I would suggest just getting it on Amazon, but this is a really nice thing to add. What do you think? Not bad, right? Our beautiful seafood ramen, seared scallops, and Alaskan spot prawns from New England Fishmongers. I'm going to dive right into this. Thanks for tuning in. If you have any questions on this one, I know there's a lot of steps. Just give me a shout. Thanks.